Hello friends, James Stevenson back with another episode of James and Loki's Gems of the Week. Let's check in with Loki, who is curled up in bed, moving around, doing a lot of blinking and moving those eyebrows around. You can keep an eye on Loki in the Loki's bed cam while I, James Stevenson, walk you through all the tweets that I liked over the previous week and talk about them. That is the format of this exclusive subscriber series that I do every week. Even if I don't have time to make anything else, I make this video for you, subscribers. That is my commitment. I think I am going to have time to make other videos this weekend. Last weekend I did not. Alright, that's the last tweet that we saw last week, where I had it queued up so I can show you everything that's new since. You may have missed a bunch of these tweets. For example, here's one from Dalton Brewer at Dalty Brewer on X. The future is minimalism, the future is Tesla. I still can't believe virtually every other automaker still incorporates massive button bloat inside their vehicles. Even new EVs still have too many buttons. Tesla's interior design is minimal as it should be. As an iPhone is, as a tablet computer is, right? Tesla's secret is in the software. The software combined with hardware eliminates the need for excessive knobs and buttons. The technology is world-class, simply the best there is. As Elon would say, the best part is no part, the best process is no process. When you enter a Tesla, it feels as if you're entering a spaceship, ready to blast off. Activate FSD in your Tesla, and it feels like you're living in the future. With that gorgeous interior shot of, might be a Model Y. Let me know if you know which. It's probably a Model 3. It's probably the refresh Model 3. And the Model 3 was the first one that I remember Elon referring to as feeling like a spaceship on the interior. They all have since. I sat in a Cybertruck for the first time yesterday in the driver's seat, and that feels like a spaceship too. Alright, I'll back out of here and go up to the next tweet that I liked from Riku Modela 13 years ago today. The next morning I woke up with widespread fasciculations and realized that I have ALS. It could happen to anyone. Yeah, that was Riku before the slow creeping paralysis of ALS had confined him to 24-hour nurse care. But he is still living as full and rich a life as anyone ever has 13 years after being diagnosed with ALS, for sure. Taking care of organizing and planning backyard projects, activities for his daughter. He's all over X as well. Here's one from Elon Musk. When will politicians, or at least the intern who runs their account, learn that lying on this platform doesn't work anymore? With a screenshot here of Kamala Harris, Vice President of the United States of America, next in line to be president if something were to happen to Joe Biden, who said Donald Trump would ban abortion nationwide. President Joe Biden and I will do everything in our power to stop him and restore women's reproductive freedom. Community Notes jumped in here. President Trump has repeatedly said he will not sign a national abortion ban. With a whole bunch of sources here, including CNN and the New York Times, not known to be cheerleaders for Donald Trump. The public is smart, is the next tweet that I liked from Elon Musk, replying to me, James Stevenson. Why would he say such a thing? I'll scroll up here and show you my post that he replied to. What do these poll results tell you? Let's look at them and see if we can figure out why Elon Musk thinks the public is smart. Here's the first one. How long do you think Donald Trump will be mentally fit to serve as president of the United States? 4 more years, 4 more months. He's unfit now? Don't know. See results. Um, Rather than comment on these, I'll show you the next two polls in case this one makes you angry. I have others. This one says, how long do you think Joe Biden will be mentally fit to serve as president of the United States? I do have to read this to you. Even after 9% of respondents said don't know, 81% said he's unfit now. Only 10% didn't think he's unfit now. Or resisted the idea that he's unfit now by saying he'll make it 4 more months or 4 more years. 10% of people thought that. And the last one, how long do you think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be mentally fit to serve as president of the United States? The most popular choice here was 4 or more years. This was the only bit of wording that I changed, but I did it purposefully. Both of these names are people who have served a term, or more than half a term, which, why would I say it that way? Because that's the constitutional limiter on how many terms you can serve. One of the amendments to the U.S. Constitution set term limits for the presidency. I wish we could get some term limits in place for Congress or the Senate, but it's self-apparent why those laws have not been passed, or those amendments have not been ratified. And now that I've said it's self-apparent, I'll just tell you, it's because you'd have to get the people who would be adversely impacted by such a law to vote for it, and they're not going to. They like being reelected for 40 years to Congress, or 50 years in some cases. It's all about landing that name recognition, you know? If you're from a district that is heavily backed by one of the two major parties, and if you have name recognition, you can just keep getting reelected over and over and over and over again. I want to say Hawaii sent the same congressman for 50 years. I think it's Daniel Inouye. They just kept reelecting him over and over and over and over. Nobody else got a turn because Daniel Inouye kept running and kept getting reelected. Hope I didn't get his name wrong. So Elon Musk saw these poll results and said, the public is smart. And I liked that. I'll back out of here and keep going. Here's one from Warren Redlick. She said yes. Congratulations, Warren Redlick, on your engagement. So awesome to see a couple of photos here. That's what you do when you get engaged. You post about it to X. So you can get 2,100 likes here. And so people will know that you're engaged. So good stuff there. I think we'll see another one of those in a minute, because I scrolled through here rapidly and noticed that that photo came up more than once. Here's one from Frida Duan. Just finished a 1-week trip to China. I've now survived all the major 20 L2 self-driving and robotaxi vehicles in both the US and China. Some thoughts and observations. Level 2 self-driving. I tested major brands like Huawei, Li Auto, Neo, Xiaopeng, and Xiaomi. Overall, they exceeded my expectations. The rides were not overly cautious and handled complex situations. Yes, road conditions in China are very challenging, quite well. Nothing compares to Tesla's approach. I see imitation learning / end-to-end as the only effective approach for self-driving. While Chinese peers perform well on main roads, they struggle on frontage roads due to reliance on high-precision maps and rule-based methods, e.g. cars stopped in the middle of the road where there was no clear white line, painted lines on the road. Chinese EVs' self-driving capabilities are far ahead of those from US and EU brands. I doubt any Chinese players can benefit from level 2 self-driving, not because it's not useful, but because it's hard to differentiate, and price wars dominate the market in China. Chinese consumers and regulators seem much more receptive to self-driving. Even with a 5 out of 10 self-driving capability, cars are practically hands-free. Insurance-wise, for level 3 plus cars, OEMs bear responsibility for incidents, so OEMs avoid labeling cars as level 3 plus. So here's some of the comparisons among these. Mainly I liked this for the comments about how Tesla was way ahead. From somebody who's actually tried them all. Like, normally when you hear criticism of Tesla's full self-driving, it's from people who haven't tried possibly any self-driving system. They're working off of third-hand information, right? So it's pretty rare that you get one from somebody who says, hey, I've tried all of them, here's my report. And that's why I like this tweet. So I'll let you pause and read through all of this if it's of interest to you. I liked the whole tweet, but mainly for that part early. Let's read this one because there's a hashtag Tesla in it. Perfectly competitive market, Tesla was brought in and competition was welcomed, unlike the US, which has a 100% import tax on Chinese EVs. It's kind of a shame that American consumers aren't allowed to purchase a Chinese EV if that's what they want. Like, the protectionist tariff here is a national embarrassment. And people who understand economics will tell you that tariffs make your citizens poorer. I'll give you an example of this. If you're in India and you want to buy a Tesla, I think it's a 200% import tax, so nobody does. So if you're watching me from India right now, you're like, yeah, Teslas are way too expensive. I can't afford to buy one. I could buy 3 locally made cars of comparable quality for the same amount of money it would cost me to buy 1 Tesla, so I don't. There you go. That's what it is. You're making your citizens poorer by causing them to have to spend more, a larger fraction of their income, to get the same goods people in other countries are able to buy for a small fraction of that amount. So then they have less money to spend on other things, and that makes them poorer, relatively. That's what tariffs are good for. I mean, they're good for bringing in money to your government if that is a goal in and of itself. But if your goal is to have a prosperous people, then your tariffs should be 0 or matching. I like matching because it encourages other countries to lower their tariffs. If you say, hey, if you guys are going to put a 100% tariff on our exports, then we're going to put a 100% tariff on your exports. But if you're going to have no tariff, we're going to have no tariff. And that encourages them to have no tariff. All right. Enough talk about economics for one video, probably. Who wants to talk about economics all day? Software features that surprised me the most. Everything in the car can be voice controlled, not just simple tasks like playing music. Users can adjust the height of the steering wheel and set the temperature easily. Self-parking, which Tesla has yet to release to all FSD users, is already a table stake in China. I'd rate the quality at 10 out of 10. That's pretty great for self-parking. Over the years, there have been some versions of Tesla self-parking that would curb your wheels, which is you would... Everybody knows what that means, but if there's one of you out there who doesn't know what curbing your wheels is, it's scraping the side of your wheel above the tire rubber against the curb and damaging the appearance of it. So I keep a wheel repair kit in my frunk so that I can sand down and repair any curb rash that may occur. Because I got a reputation to uphold, right? Nobody ever recognizes me except I Like Teslas did this weekend. But apart from that, I have to be at a Tesla event for somebody to recognize me IRL. Mini fridges in the car. I've seen mini fridges in Teslas. They make them. I think somebody makes one for like the Model 3 and Model Y little side compartment where you can just flip the door up and put a few cans of soda or beer in there, whatever you like to drink out of cans or bottles. Infotainment systems, Internet of Things, heads-up display, UV-protected glass roofs. Xiaomi took Tesla's design. Well, for a lot of the things that were mentioned above, people took Tesla's design, right? Software everything, self-park, voice-activated features. Those were new when Tesla implemented them. Like, Elon talks about how now any car will play whatever song you want. You get in and you ask for a song and it'll play. Maybe not any car, but a lot of cars can do that now. At the time Model S could do it in 2010, it was a mind-blowing magic trick. People were floored that no matter what song you requested, your car could go find it and start playing it, right? That was new and different back then. Okay, I'll keep going. I liked a video by Jim Farley, Ford CEO. Let's find out what this is. If we cannot make money on EVs, we have competitors who have the largest market in the world, who already dominate globally. If we don't make profitable EVs in the next 5 years, what is the future? We will just shrink into North America. So I'm not going to play you this video, but a whole bunch of people liked it, 3,300 people, possibly including Elon Musk. He likes a lot of Sawyer Merritt's tweets, and this would have been a good one for him to like because he founded a company with the mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. And that's what Jim Farley is talking about doing here. Yeah, you got to make profitable EVs. You have to be able to sell the EVs for more than they cost you to build. A lot of companies still haven't figured out how to do that. Many years after Tesla figured out how to do that. Here's one from Jeremy Judkins that I liked. I have some really bad Cybertruck news. After 5,000 miles and several road trips, it saddens me to say that I have not experienced any issues at all. I was expecting a lot of dramatic problems I could document and monetize. Tesla problems equals money. If you're a YouTube creator whose videos go viral when things go badly, the worst thing that can happen is for nothing to go badly. Sadly, my Cybertruck is perfect, and it's a catastrophe that nothing worth making a YouTube video about has gone wrong with Jeremy Judkins' Cybertruck. He's also in Florida with his broken Cybertruck glass t-shirt on appropriately. So that was a good tweet. Here's one from Tesla Mojo Golden replying to somebody. Oh, replying to me. So I wanted to remind people that 5 years ago, Charlie Grant wrote an article about how even record Q2 2019 deliveries could just be a smokescreen to hide Tesla's demand problem. And when somebody accused Charlie of being influenced by his dad, Jim Grant's close relationship with famously outspoken Tesla short seller Jim Chanos, Elon Musk asked if it was true, and Tesla Charts jumped in to defend Charlie. I spent like 10 minutes rewriting this paragraph over and over again because I had so many characters involved in it, and it was hard to lay this out in an organized fashion that was easy to follow. When Tesla reported record deliveries the next day, Tesla Charts tried vainly to make lemonade from the lemons, tagging his hashtag TeslaQ lackey at Paul917011736. This is Paul Dazan, keeper of the TeslaQ blacklist. In his replies, to anyone critical of him for Paul to add them to the Tesla Q block list. So if you know the Shorty Air Force, that is led by Paul Dezan, flying around Fremont, California in his Cessna, taking video and photos of the Fremont factory parking lots. So I think he eventually ran out of money to fuel his Cessna because he got his face ripped off shorting Tesla. But we know his name because Russ Mitchell wrote an article about him and published his name in the LA Times, which is now a matter of record. So I'm not doxing Paul Dezan, that's his name. As reported by Russ Mitchell, who I have to say is a fellow Tesla Q member. He's blocked a whole lot of us repeatedly, us being Tesla long investors and vocal advocates of people buying a Tesla or buying Tesla stock. So here's a screenshot of from the time, July 1st, 2019. Wall Street Journal out and out saying, even record vehicle deliveries from Elon Musk and Tesla won't put demand concerns to rest. Charlie Grant writes, at least they let you know it's Charlie Grant's opinion in the headline. That doesn't always happen these days. Futurama King replying, WSJ Markets, how can I trust you to report anything when you are so wrong on things I do know? Can't read anything else you do. Here's the reply from Tesla Charts to Elon. I refuse to live in a world where Elon Musk is held up as somehow better than Charlie Grant. Yeah, when history books are written 100 years from now, if indeed books are still written 100 years from now, how will historians 100 years from now remember Charlie Grant? Will they all remember Charlie Grant as being a superior intellect to Elon Musk? Tesla Charts asserting in the affirmative there. Yes, they will. History will bear out that Charlie Grant did more for the world than Elon Musk did. I'm not here to make money, although to be clear, I'd like to make money on the demise of this fraud. I'm primarily here to be a dog biting on his pant leg, and I ain't letting go. Hashtag Tesla Q. And the following day, after the numbers were reported, at 1:21 p.m., Tesla Charts scrambling to find the memo. You know, what do we do, Tesla Q, with the beat that we said would not happen? I think it was 95,000 deliveries, and they had been predicting half that. Seriously, they'd been predicting like 50,000 deliveries, and they came in at 95 or 97 or something. The perfect setup trademark is here. So I guess the stock went up that day, and Tesla Charts was like, wow, what a great opportunity to short. No, it was a terrible, terrible time to short. Mid-2019. If you wanted to get your face ripped off in late 2019, that was a good time to open a short position. Mr. LA Monopoly replied, I think you've said that 1,000 times. And Tesla Charts replied, CC at Paul917-01736, meaning, Paul, please add this account to our block list so I never give them the opportunity to see or reply to my posts again. And Paul replied with the green check mark, which was always his reply, his coded reply, meaning, yes, I have added this account to the Tesla Q block list, and you'll never have to deal with seeing one of their replies again. Which is how Tesla Charts was able to build a following, right? Exclude anybody with a good argument counter to what you have said. Just keep doing that. Keep repeating until you have a perfect echo chamber of people who don't disagree with you ever. Full Self-Driving 2020 replied, people want to own self-driving EV cars at an affordable price. It is that simple, not a good bet. And similarly got blocked. Ryan Huber replied, One of the times you say this, you'll be right. Don't give up. And TC added Ryan Huber to the list. Bubble Boy at Lazy Getter, a Tesla Q member in good standing, replied, Ryan is usually cool slash funny. Let's wait to see his opinion, saying, hey, you're blocking a Tesla Q member here, TC. And Ryan Huber replied, I'm definitely neither of those things, but Loki's bed is in the way, so I can't read the rest of that. But you can. You can see it on your screen. My screens are too small for me to read that small print. All right. And this was the question from Elon 5 years ago. Is this true? C. Grant WSJ. Is what true? Alpsoy66 said Mr. Grant from WSJ is not an independent journalist. His father is best friends with Mr. Chanos, who is among the largest short position holders of Tesla stock. Mr. Grant only writes negative, unfounded, suggestive articles about Tesla and Elon Musk, which, in my opinion, serves short sellers FUD. Retweeting Vincent Yu here. Vincent, at Vincent 13031925, was providing the receipts and pointing out the Wall Street Journal's rating of 1.5 stars, largely owing to their paywall. I would imagine, right? Wall Street Journal's not a disreputable publication. It's just frustrating when you want to read the article and they say, no, you can't read the article. You have to pay us a lot of money to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal if you want to read our articles. Has Charlie warmed to Elon since then? I'd have to say no. After reading 2 of his 5 most recent replies to his public announcement that he no longer works at the Wall Street Journal, one to longtime famously strident leader of the Tesla Q movement, and another account that has blocked me for more than 5 years, Montana Skeptic, that's this one, who replied, keep us posted, Charlie, and very best of luck to you in your new endeavor. Elon so badly needs a talented comms person. To which Charlie laughed, because they're buddies. And Hank Campbell replied, one of the best and the bane of Elon Musk way before it was cool. So here's a guy who thinks it's cool to be the bane of Elon Musk. And Charlie's response? Agreement. Way too kind, but I appreciate it. Thanks. That's Charlie Grant for you. He does not like Elon Musk and never has. So that was that. Did I put anything else in this thread? Yes, related from 5 years and 4 days ago. Well, these guys are clearly going to go bankrupt. They can't make donuts fast enough. Yep. So this was in response to Vincent Yu with those screenshots we just saw. Are we going back to demand cliff mode again? Yeah. I have to congratulate Wall Street Journal receiving a magnificent 1.5 star rating. Please keep up the good work. With the no FUD emoji there. So Vincent said, love this pic, never gets old. It was a year old already when I posted it here. I think this was the first meme I made. It just seemed like it needed to get made. Tesla Q still exists. More of them block us every year, so we see less of them. All right, I'll keep the video moving. And back out of here enough that I can keep going with the tweets that I liked over the past week. Here's the laughter from Elon Musk replying to this meme in that thread. So he just saw Elon read the thread that we just read and added his laughing emoji at the end. So that's good. Here's one from Romain Edwin, at Romain Edwin on X. Energy storage deployments are literally off the chart in Q2. Who likes a good off the chart chart? This guy, you know. Romain did share with me that he was thinking of me while making this chart, because I've done so many off the chart charts before. He wanted to make sure that he did it justice when he was making that chart, so I gave him a like. Here's one from Galileo Russell. He just describes himself as Gally on X. At GFilchy is his handle. Hoping these rumors are true about Travis Kalanick, or Kalanick. I don't know how to. He probably doesn't want to pronounce his name like a Kalanick. Let me know in the comments below if you know how Travis pronounces his name. It seems like it ought to be common knowledge after he's been a public figure for so many years. Leading robotaxi fork, hashtag Tesla. Exactly the kind of bold move maker Tesla should be teaming up with. It would be a pièce de résistance to disrupt Uber and bring autonomous ride sharing to the masses. So yeah, if Elon Musk wants to put a qualified person in charge of the robotaxi app and robotaxi service, he can hire Travis, who has relevant experience rolling out ride-sharing apps. He's been doing it longer than anybody has. So yeah, maybe that will happen on 8/8. Elon will invite out Travis to show you the Tesla robotaxi app. That would be fun. And we're going to see a tweet here, I think, from Mayor Tucker at Fresh Jiva later on with his theory that the Tesla network will begin as a driver-assisted service. So it'll be FSD, but with a human driver prepared to take over at any time, just so that Tesla can work out the kinks of having a ride-sharing service at all prior to going driverless, which makes sense to me. Here's one from WholeMars's catalog. June 17th, 2024, Uber CEO sells 1 million shares. July 1st, 2024, Elon Musk follows Uber founder Travis K. Since I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, I can find out in a minute by going to search for interviews. All right, I just took my own advice. I paused my recording. I went and found a video. Stephen Colbert called him Travis Kalanick, so I'm just going to call him that until somebody corrects me. Stephen Colbert, I think, makes it a point to pronounce people's names correctly so as not to insult them as they walk out onto his stage. So I'll call him Travis Kalanick. And August 8th, 2024, Tesla unveils Cybercab. The timeline makes sense if you look at these events and try and figure out what might explain their rapid succession of events. All right. Next, a tweet from Roland Percher at PILOLY on X. Tesla deployed 9.4 gigawatt hours of energy storage products in Q2, highest quarterly record at 132% quarter over quarter. Year-to-date deployments nearly surpasses last year's development in just 2 quarters. So this giant bar here is just Q2 of 2024. Just the most recent quarter is right here. And this is a lot, friends. I put out a tweet to that effect. That is a lot of energy storage products being sold in the quarter. As you can see, if you just compare it to the full year, 2019, 2020, 2021, this bar is more than the 3 of these years stacked, end to end to end. So the 12 quarters ended Q4 2021 had less energy storage products sold than just the last 90 days of Tesla's energy storage sales. So energy storage has increased a lot recently, which is good news. It's not a guarantee that every quarter will be higher than this quarter was. It's lumpy, or it can be very lumpy, as compared with other businesses that are more predictable. The earning of revenue in the Tesla storage, especially Megapack market, is less predictable because you have to deliver the product to the buyer and they have to hook it up to the grid which requires building permits and government approval and stuff. Then they have to test the equipment. They have to get the equipment certified for use, turn it on, make sure it's working, and then you can declare the revenue. So there's a lot of latency in that system. There's a time lag between when you make the product and when you're allowed to report the revenue from having sold that product on your income statement. All right, the next tweet that I liked came from Omaha Buffett, not Warren Buffett, posting self-proclaimed hedge fund manager of automotive stocks who has been wrong on Tesla for 5+ years gives his Tesla price target. It's kind of like watching someone try to paddle upstream with a fork, which is a funny turn of phrase that doesn't get overused. So what did Motorhead Brad Munkin say? Tesla Q2 deliveries beat consensus by 3%. The stock rallied 10%. It's up 27% since it broke out of its range 6 trading days ago. All this for a 5% year-over-year fall in sales and a 14% year-over-year drop in output. Q2 street EPS of 57 cents is too high given weak pricing. I'm 34% lower at 37 cents. So there you go. We'll see if Tesla can beat 37 cents of earnings from Q2 when they report in a few weeks. I'll have to update my forecast probably today and then make some videos sharing with you my forecast now that we know what the delivery numbers were, which were higher than my expectations and most everybody else's. Here's one from Elon Musk replying to Physics and History. How socks and umbrellas defy conservation of mass was his answer to the question, what's the most challenging physics concept you've ever learned? I replied, and rum. Why is the rum always gone? The Johnny Depp gif. Now, Johnny Depp may not be Elon Musk's favorite human, having possibly had some unpleasant run-ins with him and Amber Heard over the period of time when he and Amber Heard were romantically entangled, let us say. Possibly a better use of that expression than when people normally use it. So I thought people wouldn't know what Elon Musk meant about socks and umbrellas defying the laws of physics. So I wanted to helpfully give one more example that I thought would help people figure out what Elon was talking about. These things go missing without explanation. You try and find the matching sock and you can't find it. You try to find an umbrella and you don't know what has happened to it. Here's one from Dave Lee. Hope this is the final riddance to the 100s for Tesla. Yeah, me too. Steven Spencer, I didn't like this tweet, but replying, it probably is, although if Elon exercises and has to sell a bunch later this year, could put some pressure on the stock. I hate to say it, but he's right. Like, there's a reason I follow Steven Spencer. He is smart. He works for SMB, a company in New York that involves trading stock. So he knows what he's talking about. More than most people who day trade, Steven Spencer is experienced in all the ways you would want from somebody who is sharing their views on temporary stock price movements. So in the past, Elon has sold on the open market during trading hours. What happens when you do that? Well, if you're selling millions and millions of shares, you're just eating up the bid. Like, there's only so many open orders on the market at a time. And if you say, I don't care what the price is, sell these 100 million shares, what's going to happen is that you're going to eat up those open buy orders that had limits below the current trading price. And you're going to make a lot of those people happy for a moment before you keep selling and the stock price keeps dropping. And they're going to say, oh no, I could have had the stock for less. And the algorithms will see this happening and they'll adjust their purchasing target so that they don't overpay for the stock. And that'll add further selling pressure to the market. right? Or it'll vacuum out the price support under the stock. I should stop talking about this, but Steven Spencer said it a lot shorter than I did. Hey Elon, here's the advice if you're watching, Elon. You're not. Just do a block trade with Morgan Stanley. Call up whoever your contact is at Morgan Stanley. Say, hey, I've got 100 million shares of Tesla stock or 300 million shares of Tesla stock or whatever it is that I want to sell. Here's the current stock price. If you will buy all these shares from me, I'll give you a 3% discount versus the current stock price. And then you organize the block trade. You transfer those shares over to Morgan Stanley, who is a lot more patient than you are, apparently. And then Morgan Stanley will sell off those stocks or hold them or, whatever they want to do with them. Use them to write options, whatever Morgan Stanley does when they acquire a whole bunch of shares. And they'll be happy to have gotten those shares from you at less than the market rate. And you, Elon Musk, will be happy because you'll make more off those shares than if you were to start dumping them on the market. Yeah, the first 1,000 shares that you sell will be at a higher price, but the last few million shares will be at a much lower price than that 3% discount if you're selling them all at once, because you're going to crash the stock price when you do it temporarily, and then when you're done selling, it'll pop back up again. Some, not the whole way back up, because a lot of the people who wanted to buy Tesla stock will have had their buy orders filled by then. So the price won't go the whole way back up until the market has had time to have more people come to market who want to acquire Tesla shares at the market price. All right, so that was that I liked. Next is a tweet from Bradford Ferguson at Brad S. Ferguson, who retweeted fellow rebellionaire Scott Walter, PhD, saying pure gold with the gold ring here, and the 24 karat, 24K, 24,000 views on the tweet. So AU is the, in chemistry, the abbreviation for gold. Aurum, A-U-R-U-M, is the Latin word for gold. All right, next is Doge Army General, the Tesla Bull. I bought January 2026 $180 leaps in May, close to what felt like the bottom, signaled by you and Ron Barron and others, and folks called me crazy, LOL, now up greater than 100%. I didn't like this tweet to encourage you to do as Doge Army General did and speculate on options. It is not the safest thing to do with your money to speculate on options. It is a far safer strategy to buy long and hold and not use margin. That way nobody can force you out of your position. You own what you own, and it'll only decrease in value by as much as the stock price goes down by, but that's temporary if you're not trying to sell right away. If you're in it for the long term, it makes sense to just buy the stock and hold it. But that's not trading advice either. Do your own research for entertainment purposes only, etc. Here's one from Chensu Bayan. My 9-year-old son made this in his art class. Appropriate day to share. Hashtag Tesla. Tagging me along with a few others. Here's a flying car. Elon Musk is gonna make a flying car. This looks like a roadster. His son did a much better job creating this illustration than I would have. That's kind of a fun idea. Yeah, there's no age in my life at which I would have made a better drawing than this of a flying car. But it'll be interesting to see how SpaceX incorporates the compression overwrap pressure vessels, the COPVs, into the car. Probably they'll go in the back seat or under the back seat, maybe. I mean, because it still has to be an EV, and Tesla Roadsters are not large vehicles, so it's. I mean, the trunk, maybe you just make a big frunk. No, it won't be a big frunk. it's a design challenge trying to figure out where you put that big cylinder of compressed air. Plus, you need to be able to refill it, right? So you need machinery for air intake and filtering to get more air back in to your compression overwrap pressure vessel after you've used it to power low gas to power uh, cold gas thrusters is the expression I was looking for. So that's the way SpaceX rockets land, is they have these little thrusters, same as they use in space to maneuver in orbit. You just use those even at sea level. You can fire air out of them, and Newton's third law says for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you blast air that way, you're going to go this way to some extent or another. And that's exactly what they're going to do with that SpaceX Edition Roadster. They're going to have enough of those nozzles around the car, probably a few in back, pointing backwards, to make the thing accelerate faster if they want it to do 0 to 60 in 1 second, which I think they want to do. But probably they will also have them pointing right and left and forward, and maybe with a valve cover over them so that they're more aerodynamic in the front when not in use. And then, yeah, if you want to slow down faster, you blast that air out the front, and it helps you brake to a stop. So that's what Elon means when he's talking about an unfair advantage for the SpaceX Edition Roadster on a race course. You could just blast your way through a corner at a speed faster than any other regular car could take the corner, because they can't exceed the rate at which their tires can grip the road. Like, there's only so much you can warm up your tires. There's only so much sticky grip you can put on your tires before they will lose grip if you try to take a corner too fast and you'll slide off the road. If you have a SpaceX Edition Roadster with a sideways firing thruster, you can take it whatever speed that thruster can withstand to support you getting through. If your car starts to slide left, you fire your left thruster and it stops you from sliding, and you take the corner and you keep going. All right, it's an exciting idea, and you could set nutty lap times with a driverless SpaceX Edition Roadster where the computer had enough time to think about the optimal way to use that system. Here's one from Matt Smith at MacHasmMatt. With the energy numbers we just got, that's not a 100 forward PE. Replying to Mayor Talker, who I mentioned earlier, at Fresh Jiva, fellow Rebellionaire Lion, I'm definitely not complaining, but come on, guys. Tesla doesn't deserve a 100x forward PE right now. With the stock price around $250. I think it stopped just shy of $250 this week, up 32% over a single week. So that's pretty good. That's a lot better than we've seen out of Tesla stock for a long, long time, but that's how it goes. The stock market's job is to be unpredictable. And Matt Smith had a conversation with Larry Goldberg that I highly recommend you go watch, talking where Larry convinced him that the profit margins from Tesla Energy are going to be a lot better going forward as they declare the deferred revenue that they'll be earning over time for installations that have already occurred. We don't know yet how good the margins will be, but it does stand to reason that they'll be better to some degree or another, depending on how much cost of sales was deferred along with the revenue. The matching principle of accounting says that you need to declare revenues in the same period as their related costs, but if you've already delivered the product, maybe you've already declared most of the cost because it made sense to do it that way. So there may not be that much more cost left to declare, and you could have something similar to software margins. Not software margins, but something more like software margins than hardware margins, or typical Tesla energy margins anyway. So, reason to be optimistic, but no guarantees on what we're going to see out of Tesla Energy. We're going to get what we get. Here's one from Taylor Robinette at TW Robinette. After nearly 5 incredible years, today is my last day at Tesla. I joined Tesla in 2019 after being an avid fan and owner. I moved from North Carolina to California to take over the referral program, a program I knew and loved, having referred 12 people myself. In my 5 years at Tesla, I've had the opportunity to work on some of the most interesting projects and product lines driving massive impact for the company. This is a very long post, and I'm not going to read all of it to you, but if you want to pause it and read through all of it, you can, to see all the different projects that Taylor Robinette worked on over his time at Tesla. This post reads a little bit like his resume for whatever he might want to do next in his life. But congratulations to Taylor Robinette on a good 5-year run at Tesla, helping figure out how to pay for merchandise in Dogecoin. That's pretty great. Elon just said, yes, we'll take payment in Dogecoin. And then somebody had to figure out how to do that. And that somebody was Taylor Robinette, who was the first person ever to figure out how to pay for merchandise with Dogecoin the way he describes it. And possibly that's true. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Taylor Robinette employee. That is a beat up employee ID badge right there. But some fun little mementos of a career at Tesla over the past 5 years. Cyber whistle. Don't mess with Tesla belt buckle with the Lone Star on it for Texas. I don't know why they spoiled that with 2 more stars. If you know why, let me know in the comments below. And the Cybertruck Most Valuable Referrer badge on 11/30 of 2023. I was there. The only Tesla event I ever attended. And these were getting handed out to folks who were there because they redeemed referral credits to be able to attend. So, cool stuff. And I'll show you the next tweet that I liked from Futurama King. The best way to see an old post I made is as a screenshot by James. What's he replying to? It's this one we saw earlier. So I sent him the heart hands with the dapping up gif here. But which is my way of saying thank you for having been on the record and for your tweet having aged like a fine wine, as opposed to the room temperature milk aging from Charlie Grant. Here's one from Tony Garrich at T Garrich on X. The James Stevenson view of the Great Pyramid, tagging me. What is? Well, let's scrolling up here and see this post originally begun by Bob Golan, Great Pyramid of Giza aerial view. So if you're directly above the pyramid, looking straight down at it, this is what it looks like, which prompted somebody else to say, sky, sunny side of pyramid, shady side of pyramid. This is a fun way to do a pie chart. So if you ever have 3 things that need to be charted that are exactly these proportions, now you know what colors to shade them to have some fun. So I like those. That's just, that's good old-fashioned fun right there. Okay, here's another one from executive producer of this program, Bradford Ferguson, owner of Rebellionaire.com. Not a chance that this much revenue gets recognized this quickly for Tesla Megapack. Deployed means deployed to the field, Megapack on site. Deployed doesn't mean huge revenue recognition until the site is energized. Retweeting M for Electric. Tesla Energy segment revenue, Q2 2024. My estimation, yeah, it seems unlikely that Tesla will declare a number this large in dollar terms. We already know what the gigawatt hour number is. We'll find out what the number is when we get it, but I'm inclined to agree with Bradford Ferguson that that this is an overly optimistic assessment of how much revenue there's going to be. Hey, I'm all for it if Tesla can figure out how to have declared that much of the revenue as earned already, but skeptical that there will be that much, similarly to Bradford's viewpoint. Here's one from Cyber Mike at Cyber Mike OG. Don't believe what other car companies will try to sell you. Their autopilot suites are not the same as Tesla FSD. Don't trust them to stop you in an emergency. Here, a car dealer tells a customer to trust the vehicle's safety system, and the safety system does not stop for the stop traffic. You can see the guy pointing at the stop traffic, and his instructor is like, no, it'll stop on its own. And then his hands go up to his head in the cradle position just before impact, saying, oh no, what have I done? I instructed this driver to not brake, and then we got into a car accident because whichever Chinese vehicle this is didn't stop in time. And this is the last time I'm going to show you the video, but in case you missed it, this is the kind of video that was shot pretty poorly. So wanted to give you one more chance to look at it before we move on. Those stopped cars. Yeah, they just plowed right into one. Okay. Here's one from Wes at W Moral 3. This is Wes Moral, the head of Cybertruck engineering, I think. Let's go. Best-selling electric pickup is also made in America and, very likely, the most American-made pickup, too. Happy 4th of July, retweeting Sawyer Merritt news. For the first time ever, the Tesla Cybertruck was the #1 best-selling electric pickup truck in America in Q2, outselling the Ford F-150 Lightning. Congratulations, Tesla, citing Gregor Truck for having made this video, I think. I'm not sure Sawyer Merritt makes very many videos himself. So good stuff there. Here's one from Elizabeth at Nuova Realta. Haha, bravo, James. Retweeting me, saying, I do not feel bad for the longtime Tesla short sellers getting margin called today because I warned them literally at the bottom to cover because it was a bear trap. Click through and scroll up. And this was the typical response I got from Dark and Stormy, who told me on April 25th, James, the stock is down 40% versus SPY in 2024. Have you considered eating some humble pie? Well, here's a response from Calvin at MP3461. Ha ha ha. This is no longer fun. Thanks, Elmo. Elmo being some of the Tesla Q members' nickname for Elon Musk. Well, I wish I hadn't scrolled down there and shown you that. Trying to keep this a family network of videos. My Tesla casts are fun for the whole family, or should be. So on April 23rd, I had tweeted a screenshot of how bears were sad. Bear face, loudly crying face. I confused some people with the brevity of my tweet here, using only 2 emojis plus this bear trapped behind bars, sad, at the 150 stock price level. So some folks misunderstood what I meant by this. They thought I was sad. The following day, I replied to myself to explain to folks, update, bear trap complete. Just to show you what a bear trap looks like. This is a classic bear trap. You're not going to find a better looking illustration of what a bear trap is than this, in my very, very humble opinion, because I made it myself. I like this bear trap emoji. What's a bear trap? The folks who shorted the stock here now can't get out at a profit. The stock has gone too far in the direction they did not intend, and now they are forced to pay back the shares that they sold for more than they received when they sold them. That's what this is showing. That's a bear trap. And I warned people who were shorting the stock back then, and this is what they told me. Somebody said that aged well. It did. Satoshi at SA_futurist replied, more like naysayers slamming their faces in pie. I replied, it takes a special kind of person to bet against companies they hate and can at best make a 99% gain shorting instead of investing long in companies they love that could return many thousands of percent gains. Now, I'll quickly address what I claimed here about at best a 99% gain. I've seen short sellers over the years say there's no limit to how many times you can make 90% shorting a stock. All right, let's unpack that claim. Do you know how good you would have to be at shorting to do that? Like, first of all, how many opportunities are there to find a stock that's going to fall by 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 orders of magnitude? Like 5 or 6 may never have happened. There may never have been a company that went from $1,000 a share to a penny per share, right? But what they're saying is you could short it the first time for 1,000 to 100 and make 90%. You could cover and then get back in at 100 and make another 90%, shorting it to $10, and then cover that, and then get back into the short at $10 and cover that at $1, and then you would have made 90% 4 times. So you would have grown your initial portfolio by 360%. So is it possible to make more than 90%, 99% shorting, naked shorting a stock? Yeah, it's also possible you'll get your face ripped off trying that, because it's not a sure thing that when you short at $10, it's definitely going to go to $1. It's the opposite of a sure thing. The market is telling you they believe the stock is fairly valued at $10. If they didn't think that, it would already be a $1 stock, right? So the opposite could happen. You could short it at $10 and be forced to cover it at 50 or 30, wherever you get margin called by your brokerage when they don't think you'll be able to pay to cover. You get margin called and stomped out of your short trade. And that's what people mean when they say you're getting your face ripped off. They mean your brokerage has closed your position for you and sent you the bill, or taken the money already if they have access to your other funds. In the fine print, some of these brokerages are allowed to sell off your other assets to cover your margin position if it gets too far out of your control. So yeah, the mindset is terrible, said Satoshi, but worse by finding negative things in the haystack rather than looking at a generational vision-driven company. Satoshi knows whereof he speaks. He was one of the earliest Tesla investors. I think he told me when I met him that he bought shares at IPO. So either before opening day or on opening day or that week or something. So this is somebody who has benefited, I think, to a large degree by the 15,000% run up in Tesla stock. So he's exactly who I'm talking to. I did reply to him, so I had him in mind as my audience when I sent that reply. He's the example of how you can make thousands of percent return investing long, but not investing short. And the other exception is put options. Okay, fine. If you guess that a stock is going to get very beat up very quickly, you can make more than 100% buying and selling put options. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, it's possible to make 1,000% return on put options. Like, if you thought a stock would be worth half as much by Friday of the same week, maybe those put options are already very cheap. And you can buy them for a small amount of money. And then if the stock crashes hard, those put options would suddenly be worth a lot more than they were earlier in the week. Okay, here's one from Cathy Kichler. At Cathy Kichler, the other executive producer of this program, once Tesla engineers perfect a megapack that plugs directly into the grid, Tesla Energy's growth potential will become semi-infinite. Electric utilities and grid operators don't comprehend how much improvement lies ahead. Yeah, I don't know what the reply here is at the end, but good post here from Cathy Kichler, reminding us of something that Elon Musk promised. I don't even remember when. It feels like it was a year ago, saying they're going to make the Megapack easier to plug in directly to the grid so it's plug and play, like a piece of computer hardware, like a computer accessory. You just plug it into the grid, and it works natively without needing a lot of custom electrical hardware to as middleware or whatever to connect up. Matt Smith would be able to explain it a lot better than I can. But Tesla engineers are working on making Megapack installation quicker, easier, and more foolproof is the point. Here's one from Futuraza. At Futuraza, this is Brian White. Unlike other billionaires, Elon keeps working because there's still work to be done. He has no mansions or yachts. He eschewed such frivolity ages ago. Accelerate the transition to sustainable energy and make life multiplanetary. Those are outrageous goals, and he's got a lot of work to do. That's just a great standalone post. He's not replying to anybody there. That's just good content. Here's another one I liked from him. I actually can answer this. Why on earth are S and X still in production? Because they're profitable. That's why. The space they consume, meaning the GA1 line at Fremont, I think, General Assembly 1, one of the General Assembly lines at Fremont, doesn't have a higher and best use, and it would be disruptive to demolish such a small chunk of the factory for whole retooling. They have the talent and supplies to keep them going as long as someone will buy them. Cybertruck is the new Halo car, both metaphorically and it actually looks like the Warthog from the game Halo. X has radical doors, but Cybertruck has radical everything. Four-wheel steering, steer-by-wire, 48-volt architecture, etc. Lots of innovations are in Cybertruck that are not also in X. Unless you need seats 6 or 7, or despite the design, Cybertruck is the clear choice. Ludicrous 3 Fresh is a better car for many buyers than the LR, Model S, and possibly even the Plaid. Those sales are falling, but the margin is still solid and people are buying them. Sales will have to fall to the point where running a single shift no longer makes sense, or the economy of scale falls off to the point where margins erode unacceptably. So yeah, there will always be a break-even point to make S and X. And what Brian White is saying here is that number's probably pretty low. You don't have to make that many Model S or X vehicles per shift for it to work economically after paying for all the costs of producing those vehicles. They sell for really decent prices still. I don't see them topping charts ever again, but they're outselling many rivals today, even at what you and I would consider impractically low volumes. Thoughts? Yeah, so like the Cadillac Escalade is thought of as being a great luxury vehicle and maybe comparable to a Model X. But if you go look up the sales numbers for the Cadillac Escalade, they are not all that high. Like a lot of Cadillacs, at least in the US, the sales are pretty low. Buick sells way better in China than it sells in the US these days. Literally, it's a dying market in the US. Younger people in China like Buicks. Younger people in the US do not like Buicks. You've got to be pretty old to want to buy a Buick in the US. I'm sorry if I just insulted any of you US Buick owners who are younger. I think my odds are low that I've insulted a whole lot of people with that statement. Here's one from Jason DeBolt. At Jason DeBolt, OMG, this is hilarious. Retweeting me. I did tag him in my reply. Let's scroll up and give you the context here. Okay, so this was another of my tweets from this week as the stock raced higher. This is probably the best visual you have on it. This is the year-to-date stock price chart if you look at it in percentage terms. So yes, there was a couple of day period in April when Tesla stock was down 40%. And from that point onward, Tesla Q has been saying Tesla stock is down 40%. It was only there for a couple of days, but they keep saying it as though it's still true. Now the stock price is back to even, back to 0%, which is nothing to cheer about, right? That the stock price is at the same level that it was early in the year, but you do feel better when it spends a lot of time 30% below that, right? I just wanted to do my part to help educate the public that, hey, Tesla stock isn't down year to date anymore, and to take a victory lap for having called the bottom this year again. Uh, that sounds arrogant when I say it that way, but I'll show you what I mean. I can't hit the buy button for you, friends. Hashtag Tesla, check the date. You be the judge. I'll show you this tweet. It better be a long time before somebody asks me when there's going to be another dip so they can buy more Tesla. To buy low and sell high, you must first buy low. Not financial advice for entertainment purposes only, etc. This is my rephrasing of a well-worn expression, which is just this part, buy low, sell high. If I were to search for only these words, I would get a lot of results. But my refashioning of the statement will get a lot fewer results, I think. I'm just going to drop this into Twitter search, and I'm going to hit enter and see. This might fail spectacularly. So there's the tweet that we just saw from me. Am I going to get the other one? No, I'm not. So here's the other way you can search for stuff. I would get to it eventually. I think Twitter wants to prioritize recent tweets, which is why it found the recent one, but not the old one. Wow. It didn't find it that way either. I am striking out. Okay, so here's the other tip for you in Twitter search. You can say from with a colon in the handle. And now we will find only tweets that I sent. Here's the other one from June 3rd, 2019. People who buy Tesla stock at 52-week lows today will be able to tell their grandkids they bought in 2019 for less than $180 per share. To buy low and sell high, you must first buy low. This number on a stock split adjusted basis was $12. That's how cheap Tesla was on June 3rd of 2019. And that's the other time that I've said that. Here's another one from February 19th of 2020. That was another really good time to buy Tesla stock. Are there more? Well, what's this one? Yeah, they fall off from there. These are not me saying that same thing. So those are the 3 times I've said to buy low and sell high, you must first buy low. June 3rd of 2019, February 19th of 2020. I think it did fall for another month after this, but then it went back up quite a lot after that. And this one from April 18th of 2024, this year. All right, enough of that. Patting myself on the back. That's not why you're here. And because I did it that way, I lost my place. So we'll get back. A little bit of a preview here. So, yeah, the OMG, this is hilarious. I still haven't paid this off yet because I was still tooting my own horn from the first couple of tweets here. Okay, so you know what those are. Gail Alpha replied, so easy to understand, yet this is when many sell, but I just buy and hold. Yeah, she's right. A lot of folks do sell their stock after it falls 40%. That ain't it, folks. Like, if you think the company that you invested in is going to go bankrupt, okay, you should sell as soon as you think that's the likeliest outcome for the company you invested in. Fine. But if you believe in the company that you invested in still, why are you selling when it's down 40%? If you think it's going to go back up again, just hold it. Just debolt your stock. Hold on to it. Jason DeBolt's last name is a verb meaning hodl. It's a synonym for hodl. Vigo at Vigo_FRB replied, agreed. However, as a very sophisticated investor, my buy signal is Tesla economist throwing a fit. That's always the moment I load up big time. So we have seen this account, Tesla economist, panic sell a few times over the years. maybe at the same times that I was reminding people to buy low. And I replied, or just buy when Brad Munkin, in quotation marks because that's not a real person's name, starts predicting Jason DeBolt is going to get margin called. So you all know, because you've been watching my videos, more than you want to know about the person controlling the Brad Munkin account. But here's a screenshot from the day after I sent my tweet at the top of this thread. That was April 18th. This is April 19th. This hater said, I want to see this guy lose his house money. That's just a sweet thing to say. What a nice tweet that got 115 likes on 8,000 views. I want to see this guy lose his house money. There's Tesla Q for you. Retweeting Jason DeBolt saying voting in favor of Elon's compensation package will remove a ton of uncertainty and rocket the stock is the right way to read that emoji. And then he made a bold claim. I'm not going to show you the bold claim. That isn't the point. The point is that Motorhead Brad Munkin replied, his average cost was $130. We're close. We're close to what? We're close to Jason DeBolt getting margin called and losing all of his house money. His house money, if you don't know the background, Jason DeBolt sold his house in Palo Alto or Silicon Valley. If you don't know a lot about real estate in that area, those are very valuable houses, and invested the money in Tesla stock, and he's living out of his car or in a rental situation or something after having sold his house. Tay-Ray replied, if he's smart, oh boy, tell us, Tesla Q, if we were smart, what would we be doing? Tay-Ray said, if he's smart, he'll dump at the break-even point. He should have taken profits and hired a financial advisor. And Motorhead Brad Munkin replied, these people are not smart. They're not smart enough to dump at $130. Did Tesla ever get to $130? No, it never went that low. And this next screenshot is the update from July 3rd, 2024, when Brad Munkin posted his dumb blog. Jurabilis replied, I got margin called. I have personally replied to that account for 6 years, telling him not to short Tesla. I have a screenshot of him advising others not to short Tesla as he did and got his face ripped off in 2019, 2020. And I have used it before to say you should take your own advice and stop shorting Tesla. He didn't. I think I advised him as recently as April and May of this year, don't short Tesla stock. You're going to get your face ripped off again. And that's what this reply means. He got margin called. He got stomped out of his naked short position on Tesla, is my reading of this. And Motorhead Brad Munkin replied, what? With words of encouragement? With apologies? With taking some of the blame for having encouraged this guy to short Tesla stock? No, of course not. He replied, it costs money to learn how to trade the wildest bull market in history. You're blessed. Please reply in the comments below letting me know what you think this means. What possible help did he think he was being saying you're blessed? It costs money to learn how to trade the wildest bull market in history. If your tutor is Motorhead Brad Munkin, I'm sorry. There's no better contraindicator than Brad Munkin. He has shorted the bottom every time there has been a bottom for Tesla. In this same dumb blog in early April, after Q1 deliveries were announced, he advised people to go long the stock early in the month of April and then to short it at earnings, which is the worst possible way you could have played the month of April because the stock price went down until earnings and then rocketed upwards afterwards, and it's still going up. Yeah, Jurabilis replying, you know very well that I won't give up. All right, there you are. So that's what Jason DeBolt Retweeted. It is hilarious that Jason DeBolt keeps winning and Motorhead Brad Munkin keeps losing. He can't get clear of Tesla somehow. He lost $1 million shorting Tesla in 2019, and he's just obsessed now. Here's one from Elon Musk. The legacy media are just propaganda puppets. X has the truth, retweeting the All In podcast, saying the media is not doing its job, with Chamath Palihapitiya breaking down the viral Sharp as Attack clip. So every now and then this happens when somebody will reveal that the same words are being used by lots of different media outlets at the same time, proving that someone is coordinating what the message or the talking points are and sending out those talking points and requesting or demanding that people use that messaging in their broadcasts, right? So people clip those together. There's a 6-minute clip of 100 spokespeople and proxies all saying the same thing about President Biden, saying he's sharp, with a lot of them saying sharp as attack as a cohesive phrase. But you know, the overall message was use the word sharp when you describe Joe Biden. And then at the debate, we all saw that he was not sharp. I replied, related debates weren't always national embarrassments. Retweeting my best performing post this year, I think, which was a clip of Ronald Reagan at a debate in 1984. If you had told me at the beginning of the year that that would be my best performing post this year, I would have been confused. I may have had one that got retweeted by Elon Musk that did better, but without the benefit of being engaged with by Elon Musk, this one got 5.9 million views and 7,200 retweets and 46,000 likes, which is a bit above my average. So look this one up if you want to see it. I imagine most of you saw it already, so I'm not going to waste your time showing it to you again. Here's one from Lumi at Level Lumi. Levi Lumi. I got margin called. You are blessed. And we are a cult, by the way. Yeah. They call us a cult, and that's how they talk to each other. You are blessed. We just saw from Brad Munkin to somebody who just got margin called, possibly meaning they got wiped out, like their portfolio was zeroed that day by their brokerage. Could be what that means. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Here's one from I Like Teslas. Met James randomly today in Florida. Such an honor. I've watched so many of his videos. When Stonk was low and I needed help, I wish Loki was there too, but he wasn't. Yeah, so I bumped into I Like Teslas at the local grocery store here in Florida. So I was one of the 2 people who replied here, and people said nice things. It was not a Florida meetup. You didn't miss an event in Florida, but some nice stuff here in the comments from folks. And then, let's see here. He said, I took a selfie, but not posting because I don't look at my best. Haha. We only took one quick selfie. I replied, or I don't, with the smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat emoji. And I Like Tesla's replied, no, it's me. I need to keep my glamour, as I very rarely post pics of myself. So both of us have been harassed by people. Both of us have given a lot of people a hard time publicly on X, and both of us don't want to be doxxed. So if you're wondering why I'm not sharing more information with you about this interaction, he did let me check out his Cybertruck. He's posted photos before of his Cybertruck. So that's not me doing any doxing. So that's the first Cybertruck I've sat in the driver's seat of. So I Like Teslas. Super nice guy to have randomly bumped into. Here's one from Selena saying, how awesome. It's so cool to meet people on this app in real life. And we just saw that one. And Ariadne, at Ariadne Tweet, replied, oh, I didn't realize you were a Floridian. Another good person to see when I finally moved down there. All right, well, maybe. It's a big state. Not everyone will bump into me randomly in Florida who lives in Florida. There's 27 million of us, last I checked, maybe more now. Here's one from TND Tesla at TD_Tesla. I had a look around the Cybertruck yesterday, James. It's huge. Awesome piece of kit. And that's it. That was the last tweet that I liked this week. So with that, I will check back in with Loki one more time to see that he is still curled up in bed snoozing, and I will say thank you for being a subscriber to me. And I appreciate your support. It's what makes this channel possible. And a special shout out to my two featured executive producers this week, Cathy Kichler and Rebellionaire.com, and I'll see you in the next one.